steel-toe boots, stomping on the concrete. From the city heat to the pine tree retreat. Backpack packed, ain't no slack in the strap. Survival mode on, no time for the nap. Knife sharp, sharper than the rent due. Street smarts, clash with the mountain view. Hustle in my veins, dirt under my nails. Prepared for the worst when the system fails. Prepare for anything, everywhere we go.
Welcome back to the Govan Survival YouTube channel. Road to 1,000 subscribers. So I was driving home today and I started thinking about my bug out bag. And I realized that that bag was built for the Ohio climate, right? So the game has changed since now I've moved to Georgia. The challenges are different, the needs are different. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through my current bug out bag and see what's in it and see what needs to go and what needs to stay. Come along for the ride. So shout out to my wife who made me this extremely refreshing peach beverage. A little feminine for my taste, but it's pretty good. So this is probably my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And it is a folding saw. This particular one is by Gerber. And how it works, as you can see, it collapses down and then the handle pops up like that. So then now you have a saw that you can saw the logs down, split the logs. So this still seems extremely relevant for the bug out bag in this area. And it breaks down really fast. All right, so the next item that I keep on the outside of the bag is a bandana. And this is, again, something that I believe to be relevant no matter what, because in a wildfire situation or some sort of chemical situation where you don't have a gas mask, you don't have any of those next level protections, put that over your face and keep it trucking. All right. So the next thing we're going to grab from the outside of the bag is going to be, and if you saw my last video, you know I love a good module. And these stuff sacks are everything to my entire life. So this one contains my rain jacket. Now what's funny is within that stuff sack, I had a baklava. I do not any longer believe this serves me in this bag. So the baklava will be exiting my bug out bag. But it rains a lot here. So what will not be exiting is the good rain jacket. All right. Now, on the outside as well, my trekking pole. I have some questionable knees. And what the trekking pole does for you is a couple things. It takes some of the weight off of your body, but it also helps you keep your balance. So I keep a trekking pole, and also in some scenarios, certain tents are trekking pole tents. You use your trekking pole to keep the tent up. That's a keeper. Now remember, this is a 72-hour survival bag. So this is not a EDC daily bag. This is, I need to keep you alive for 72 hours. Here's what we got. The most recent addition to this bag, and something that I never had on the bag before, was a tent. And I never added a tent before because I always felt like I would have my vehicle, right? And I kind of struggled with the decision of whether or not to add a tent, because also in here are some other shelter options. But ultimately, I decided on adding a tent. This is the Night Cat 2-person backpacking tent, not sponsored, but they are welcome. Night Cat, you want to sponsor me? Holla at your girl. All right. So this tent goes up exceptionally fast, and it has just enough room for either 2 people or for you and your gear comfortably. So in later videos, you guys will see me actually do some camping and backpacking. I might even do a backpacking or camping expedition in the backyard with the puppies, and just kind of see how this thing fares. So that is the Night Cat 2-person tent. All right. Next on the outside, we have a tourniquet. I felt like a tourniquet would be one of the first things you would need to get to in a major injury. I bought this little sleeve for it. This is a true cat tourniquet. Um, it is a real cat tourniquet. It is not a knockoff. It's real. And this tourniquet is for a major laceration somewhere on the extremities, where you would wrap it around the extremity, crank it to put the pressure down, and then write the time on it, which I also have a marker in the sleeve so that you could know what time you put the tourniquet on. That one's going to stay. We haven't gotten to a lot of stuff that has to go yet, but we found one item that has to go so far. All right. So in the top pouch here. Now, I'm good, but I ain't the coldest in the world. I am not a bushcraft operator, ninja, in the woods every day of my life. No, I'm not. Do I get out in nature? Absolutely. Am I always in the woods every day? Probably not. So in here, I have, but one of the things that I have in here is these little note cards with all of the most useful and popular knots. And they're laminated, they're hard plastic, they fan out, they're two-sided, and I have all my knots. All right. You might think I'm crazy, but I have these carpenter pencils. And what's good about these carpenter pencils, 1, they're extremely cheap. 2, you can sharpen them with a knife. And 3, they work great on a Write in the Rain notebook. I have a bag of dryer lint. If you know, you know. If you're trying to start a fire and you need tinder, one of the greatest tenders in the world is dryer lint, and it's free. I am a glasses and contact lens wearer. So one of the things that anybody that wears glasses needs to be mindful of when you're building an emergency kit is that you need to have a spare pair of glasses. In there is my spare pair of glasses. Also in there is a pair of safety glasses. Because as long as I'm wearing contact lenses, if I need to protect my eyes so that I can continue to wear my contact lenses and don't have to go to my glasses, I have my safety glasses. So far, I've only found one thing that needed to leave the bag. Now, I might be telling my age a little bit, but also as a spare item in my bag, right up here at the top, if you need to read a map and you are getting to be of a certain age, you might wear reading glasses. And I keep a spare pair of reading glasses. You can get these on Amazon, you can get them at Walgreens, any of the big box stores. A spare pair of reading glasses, clutch. Here we go again. So this shows me where my mind was at when I packed this bag. So this baklava in a different color is in my bag. And in the Ohio wintertime climate, this is a genius move. But for Georgia, it would be rare, if unlikely, that it would ever get cold enough for me to use this. However, I do believe I will keep one of them in the bag and the other one will get the. We have a lensatic compass. With a necklace, this compass will allow me, along with my maps, to get my bearing if I'm navigating. Again, this is not like my vehicle kit, which I'm just trying to get home. This bag means that all else has already failed and I must navigate to a second location, a predetermined second location. So you need to have a way to navigate. I keep a pair of gloves. And I don't care what climate that you might be in, I need to keep a pair of gloves so that you protect your hands from when you're cutting wood, when you're carrying wood. You don't want to get splinters, cuts, infection. So, a pair of gloves. So, I'll throw one of them on. These are nice too because they're nice and thick and you can keep yourself from not only from getting splinters, but also a little bit of heat barrier from the fire pit or fire ring. Now, this is a mask with it has a liner inside the mask. I believe this will stay because in this Georgia climate, if let's just say there were a wildfire, I can keep myself able to breathe so that I can continue to move towards my bug out location. And this is not paracord. This is just a little bit of cordage that would be pretty useful for like tying tarps up and not having to use your 550 paracord, which can have several other uses. If you break down the inner strands, you can have fishing cord, fishing line and several snares and things like that. So this would be useful for your tarp. So what I like about this bag is inside this flap, this top cover, there's the outside pouch of the stuff you need to get to quickly. And then there's the inside pouch. What I keep inside that inside pouch is, I jokingly call it my quarterback sleeve, because if you watch football, you'll know what I mean. But I can keep this on my arm and keep my hands free and have my maps. And then I have a pretty thick tarp, and right here in the middle of the tarp I have tent stakes. And the reason I have those in there is so that I can stake the tarp down into the various different configurations, a lean-to or whatever, so that I can either A, fortify the tent as my shelter, or one of these as our shelter. So, and this keeps everybody dry. Get over there. All right. Y'all notice the theme? All the colors. So this is hygiene. And whether you believe it's important or not, hygiene is one of the most important things that you need to be concerned with when you are traversing the woods, nature, or just trying to get home, or just trying to get to your secondary bug out location. If you want to get an infection, stay dirty. If you want to not get an infection, be able to clean yourself up. So in here, deodorant. I have in my hygiene bag, which is crazy, but in my hygiene bag, I have a spare wallet, which I think I'm going to move this to my admin pouch. But I have a spare wallet in here. In here, I have a photocopy of my driver's license and a couple bucks of cash. Have some towels. So me and my wife use these when we go travel in regular times. These are full-size dry towels that are compressed. So what you do when you arrive wherever you're going, you wet the towel, you hang it up, you let it dry. Then it becomes your dry towel and you throw these away. Also, say what you want. And I know in my vehicle video, we laughed about my toilet paper. Oh, y'all really gonna laugh about this one. So this is called poo gel. And what this is a biodegradable gel that turns your liquid waste into a solid. And it makes it way less gross. And I'll leave that there. And these are small face towel compressed towels. Same thing as the bigger one, only you can wash your face, wash up. So we have a way to contain our faculties and clean ourselves. Because it's gross if you don't. Because why? So, all right. these bags have a limited amount of space, and you have a weight issue, right? So I'm losing weight. So the more weight I lose, the lighter this bag has to be. Currently, this bag is at its maximum of 20% of my current body weight. Right there at it. So I would like to shave some weight off of this. But one of the things you can do to shave weight is those little tiny pieces of bar soap that you're about to throw away. I put them in a little baggie and put them in my bug out bag. So I'm not carrying whole bars of soap. And then the last thing that I keep in there, well, second to the last thing, is a mini toothbrush and a mini toothpaste. You don't know pain in your life until you've had a toothache. So you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself clean, keeping your mouth clean, keeping your body clean, so that you don't have wounds that get infections. Because treating infections in a grit down situation, no bueno. Not at all. Damn, it's a lot of stuff in here. All right. We getting down to the nitty gritty now, y'all. So we have medical, we have hygiene, we have water, we have navigation, we have communication. What are we missing? Let her cook. All right. So the first thing in my cook kit is a sterno can. What's cool about sterno cans is if you have a lighter, you can light this little guy. It can heat up your beans. It can heat up your, it can run long enough to boil water. It's a gel, so I don't have to worry about it spilling. And it will burn forever, it feels like. And they are not sponsoring me. But I got 2 sterno cans. If for some reason I can't start a fire. When I tell you the absolute worst thing in the world you could ever have is food and not have a way to open it, I have a manual can opener. I have a spork knife situation. I got a wife, so I have a second spork knife situation. We ain't got to share the fork. I have parchment paper and aluminum foil. If you watch some of my other videos, you'll understand. And this thing's pretty cool. This is a stove that I can either build a little fire under, or I can take one of these, put it under there, put my pot on top, and go to work. Boil my food. And it folds down completely flat. So that is what I call my cook kit. I'm running out of space in my little chair here. We're getting down to it though, y'all. So this, shout out to the Urban Prepper who has these Altoids 10 kits that he builds. And I took that idea and I built a mini fishing kit where I've got some lures, some hooks, fishing line, everything I need to make an improvised fishing setup. Because there's a lot of little lakes and bodies of water in Georgia. That's staying in there. All right. Much to the dismay of my wife, my choice of food is things that she wouldn't love, but I can get down with it. I have 4 cans of sardines. Say what you want, but it's protein. And it's got a hell of a shelf life. I have 2 cans of Vienna sausages. Ugh. Well, I have 1 can now. And here's the best part. I have a humanitarian food ration. And they have these on oftentimes they have these on display on TikTok where they're doing sales on them and stuff. I don't have a affiliation with these folks, but the humanitarian food rations, these are great. They are kosher. They are meat-free options, and just like MREs, they have an actually exceptional long food shelf life. So this says it is 1 day of food for one person. But I truly believe with the addition of these things, I could take this thing and stretch all of this out to 72 hours. And then because hydration is a big deal and electrolytes are a problem when you are working and carrying this heavy bag, I have a hydration packet. So we have a way to get water. Now we have a way to get our electrolytes back. So our food. And I gotta put this one back up because my husky will be out here trying to chew through a can because she thinks everything is for her. All right. Orange module. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's the fire kit. Say what you want, argue with your mama. But I keep Vaseline in every fire kit that I have. Petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever. Cotton balls. Dry tender is your friend. I have these. I chopped up one of those little fire bricks that I showed you guys in my vehicle video. And then I have these little straw fire starters. The best. In here, we have matches, lighters, a lighter with duct tape. We have dryer lint again, because I'm not screwing around. I wasn't about to freeze out there. And I have a gel fire starter. I won't tell you what brand because they're not sponsoring me. It's a popular brand. They work really well. And if they want to sponsor me, I'll tell you guys all about it. All right. So that's my fire kit. And then last, but certainly not least, we have, well, not last, but next to last, I guess. This is my clothes. This is where I believe the most glaring part of my rebuild of this bag is going to come in, because this was, again, all built based on the Ohio climate. Got the big, I forgot what these are called. I'll put it on the screen when I look it up and remember what they're called. But we have these. We have a shirt. We have pants. We have my vape falling over. We have extra socks. I don't, damn, I don't care where you are, you better have some extra socks. Underwear, an additional bandana, a do-rag. As you can see, well, I got a hat on, but you want to protect your hair, depending on who you are. You may need to protect your hair. I got a do-rag, whatever. It don't matter. I got a do-rag. So those are my clothes. Mostly, I think the clothes are cool. I think I need to look at that scarf, and I need to take the pants out and replace the pants with shorts. But I think that's probably the worst of it. And then a couple things I added that you can argue that they're not necessary, but I feel like they are. If it gets down to a matter of me cutting weight, maybe I have to cut some of these things. But I keep a contractor trash bag. These are extremely versatile. I can split it open and fortify my shelter. I can use it as a ground sheet. I can use it to carry water. I can use it as a poncho. There's a million things that I can do with this one bag. We are creatures that eventually you're going to have to go. So I have a trowel. Do with that as you please. I am not going to explain. Google it. Ask Alexa. I don't give a damn. But figure it out. Now, this is something I added as a luxury. And if it came down to weight, I'll take it out. But this is a flat uh, fireplace kind of stove. In a situation where I'm trying to stay warm, I don't have something like this. This is a mini version of that. Folds down completely flat. It is not the lightest thing in the world. So if weight becomes an issue, if the bag is getting too heavy, you may have to cut this out. But personally, if you can keep it, keep it. So if you're walking, you're expending calories, you're not going to dig down to your food bag until you stop, right? So what I have here are some, and believe it or not, I got these from Costco. Just some fruit bars that will give you a small amount of calories. They're 100% fruit. They are, there's not a bunch of crap in them. And where I keep them is right here in the band of my bag, so that as I'm walking, and the waist strap is around your waist, you can go in there, grab one of these, and keep it moving. So that pretty much concludes the bag. I think that the conclusion I've come to is 89% of this stuff is valid in any climate. There's a few things that I've decided that I'll be removing from the bag because they just don't serve me here. So what I'll say is I've built this bag over the course of the last year and a half. And modules may not work for you. You may be a person that just wants to be able to dig down in there and get what you get. Make sure that, and I won't reveal the brand of this bag, but make sure the bag has nice, strong, hefty straps, that it has a chest strap and a waist strap. And practice with your bag. Make sure that you're not trying to pack a 50 or 60-pound bag that you can't walk to the corner with. So anything that I remove from this bag, I will be replacing it with a counterpart that's lighter and more durable than the current things that I have. And anything that is really focused on cold weather, I'll be taking out, because I'm in a climate now that is 90% of the time hot as hell. So that's going to pretty much do it for us tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and my wife. And in a future video, we'll go over her bug out bag, which is a supplement to this bag. It's under the assumption that we'll be together in that 72-hour bug out situation. So I'll leave it here. I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far in the video, please like, subscribe, and follow me on all social medias. Govan Survival Co. on all social medias. And thank you so much for your support. And as always, start simple, stay ready, and together we will be prepared for anything, everywhere. Blueprints in my head, every move is made. Urban to the sticks, I'm the link in between. A streetwise MacGyver